So thank you, Larry. I think that was a really good segue. I'm Marilyn Strickland. I'm a member of the Tacoma City Council. And as Larry mentioned earlier, the conversation about the safety net comes up a lot. The city of Tacoma is lucky in that we rely on our 4 tax revenues to help us stabilize. So unlike the state that relies totally on sales tax, we have property tax, utility tax, B&O tax, and sales tax. So even though sales taxes are plummeting, we have a little bit of balance, although things aren't completely rosy. One of our big concerns right now is what's going to happen at the end of the year. We talk about hopefully having this economic downturn, but people I know who've been in banking for a long time, and the chief economist of the state has said that this recession is going to last longer than we think it is. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic or gloom and doom, but we have to be realistic about what that means. As a city, it is our job to do our best to make sure that our citizens get uninterrupted service. That means police, fire, libraries, all the essential services. Now, what does that mean in terms of a budget that shrinks and the expectation of the city members who say we want to keep getting our services? It means that something has to give. And that's a horrible position to be in. And I work at Bates Technical College, and we recently are going through budget cuts because of the state issues, and higher education is getting slashed. And what does that mean to our future as far as having trained workers who can do the work of the future? One of the things that Larry touched on that I think is really, really important is looking at the way organized labor has conducted business in the past and what needs to happen for the future. Because what we learn right now is that because of limited resources, organizations can no longer afford to operate in silos. If the business community does well, that means there is more tax revenue and more resources for government to help people. So we have to find better ways to collaborate and to work together. What I say to people sometimes is just because I'm pro-business doesn't mean I'm anti-labor. And because I'm pro-labor, it doesn't mean I'm anti-business. But this whole idea of labor versus management, that there's no way you can work together, that model is not going to suffice. It simply isn't. When you look at the city of Tacoma, the major employers in our city are government entities, the school district, the county, the city. Now, multi-care is a private entity, but for the most part, it's the public agencies that provide most of the jobs in the city of Tacoma. And ideally, we want that to be more balanced. But again, we have to make sure that we let businesses succeed and help them succeed so that they can provide the tax revenue for us to provide these services and to keep people employed, because the two are absolutely dependent on each other. As Todd mentioned earlier, 10 or 15 years ago, coming to downtown Tacoma or even Hilltop was a scary venture. But things have changed dramatically in the last 10 years. But when I visited Rochester, New York this summer, I saw a city in decline. Kodak has left. Xerox has left. And I looked at Rochester, New York, and I said, that could be Tacoma after a few bad years if we don't get our act together and do things right. And so what I want to do is make sure that as a city, we are able to keep moving forward. Larry talked about the need to grow our middle class, and he's absolutely right. As time goes on, you hear about income levels going up, but there's such a disparity between the haves and the have-nots. The reason we want to keep people employed is because families who are employed have access to health care, they're healthy families, kids do better in school. So from a holistic standpoint, there is absolutely positively a societal gain by having more working class families. And when I say working class, I mean everybody. That's blue collar, that's white collar, that's green collar. It's people who go to work every day and get a paycheck and hope that health care is affordable and they want to have enough money to put food on the table and live a comfortable life. That's everybody. So I think one of the things that we need to do is redefine what we mean by working class. When you say working class and labor, to a lot of people, a certain image comes to mind. And when I met with some of my friends from Joint Labor the other day, we talked very frankly about unions and organized labor. And I said, to the general public, there's an image problem right now. I'm not going to lie. I mean, those of us who are here tonight are big supporters of labor. But to some people out there, they say, well, you know what? Organized labor is greedy, they're overpaid, they're those government workers that don't do anything. I hear that all the time. So there's an image problem, and we have to confront it and not be defensive about it and not be angry about it. What are we doing to change that? What are we doing to reach out to people to say, we are here to support all families, all colors, all colors? Again, there has to be a unification where labor can drive this and say, we want all families to succeed. But this operating in silos, this us versus them mentality, that's business in the past. We have to get out of the past and look forward to what we can do.